Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It's time.
What is going on, everybody? What is up? Happy Tuesday to you all. We are now live here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel. This is another live edition of the Raw Rundown here on this Tuesday, February the 3rd, 2026. And here I am. It's me. It is Steve. What's going on, everyone? Here I am to discuss what was the February 2nd episode of Monday Night Raw. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it throughout all social media. Tell your let your friends know. Show love, everyone. Let everyone know that I'm live here on the channel. If you guys are feeling generous, hit that super chat. It does help out the channel and all that stuff as well. So last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, which was live from Philadelphia from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. This was the post Royal Rumble episode of Monday Night Raw. And I'll be very honest, just watch the end of the show. Just watch that Roman Reigns and CM Punk promo, confrontation, whatever you want to call it. Watch that, and then that's it. This show, I'm going to be very honest, was a very promo build show. But to be honest with you, if you only caught the end of the show where Roman Reigns made his selection of who he wants to face at WrestleMania, if that's all you watched, you did not miss anything. You did not miss anything at all. Nothing of excitement. Let me be more correct here. And again, this is the post Royal Rumble show, right? We are off to the races. This is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. And that's what they gave you. The rest of the show, the rest was just whatever, right? Yes, there was a women's title match, right, between Raquel Rodriguez and Stephanie McCurr. We had Braun Breaker, who is upset, who is like, this might even be a short fucking review. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to waste your guys' time and give you guys this long-ass fucking review of a show, really, to be honest, that was only just about the end of the show, where Roman Reigns and CM Punk and what was their exchange, which was fucking awesome. Amazing. Chef's kiss, where CM Punk was selected by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, who we all know won the men's Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. And he had a big decision to make. And the way, if you watch the Rumble, if you watch that post show, they made it seem like, Roman Reigns going to take his sweet time, right? And deciding who he's going to face. They made it seem like we were not going to hear from him, for a while. Because that's what you expect. Roman Reigns on that schedule where, we might not see him for a month or so, right? But then you find out yesterday that, Roman Reigns is advertised to be on Monday Night Raw in Philadelphia. So in the back of your mind, you're like, maybe, just maybe, he is going to, decide who he's going to face, whether it be CM Punk or Drew McIntyre, right? And if you read reports, right, there was a discussion that it was going to be Cody and Roman, right? People were going with the idea, oh, they're going to run it back once again, even though, really, to be honest, no one really wants to see it, especially in the main event of WrestleMania, right? And we got basically what we had last night. Roman Reigns makes his appearance on Monday Night Raw in Philadelphia, the same city where 11 years ago they booed him out of the building when he won the 2015 Royal Rumble. I don't know how many of you remember that. How many of you remember that he won the Rumble in 2015 in the same building they were in last night and they booed him? Right? They had The Rock show up and lift his hand up, and they booed The Rock. They booed Roman Reigns. And now here we are 11 years later, and it's night and day. Night and day. Right? And he's there to decide. Not even that he's there, right? He's talking to the crowd, talking about all the stuff that they've been through, right? Where he won the title there, where he lost the title, where he won the Rumble many years. Like basically what I just mentioned just only seconds ago. And he has a choice to make. Does he face Drew McIntyre, which everyone booed, right? Everyone fucking booed the idea of Roman Reigns facing Drew McIntyre. Like nobody wants to see that. And then he brought up CM Punk and everyone cheered. Everyone just were like, yeah. And then out came CM Punk. CM Punk comes out and the rest is basically history, right? CM Punk basically wanted Roman Reigns to pick him, right? To pick him, which is like, which is basically the tough decision, right? But keep in mind, like, Punk comes out and he immediately calls out Finn Balor, telling him that he would get his hands on him whenever he could. And then Punk said that Reigns was a visitor on his show, which I guess in theory he is, but still, like, we're on OTC time, right? Whatever show the OTC is on, it's his show, right? And they go back and forth. They go back and forth. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yo, you're hoping that Roman brings up certain things, and he did. I've been saying this for a hot minute. Like, the fact that Roman referenced the fact that when it was decided they're going to bring back CM Punk to WWE, they went to him, to Roman Reigns, to see if it's okay. And Roman said, yes, it's fine. He did his best, right? To be professional with all this stuff, right? Did his best, right? And, it was, again, he remembered, that being Roman remembers the fact that, 10 years ago, so 10 years ago or so, when Punk was on the Cult of, what was it, the Art of Wrestling podcast with Colt Cabana. You guys remember that podcast, right? Where Roman Reigns, where CM Punk, let it all out. He basically said, hey, everything that went down in WWE, the whole, you gotta make Roman look real strong. Remember that? I really wish Roman would have said that line, right? Or Punk, whatever the case, whatever, right? They brought that up, how that literally made Roman's life more difficult than what it needed to be, considering what the fuck he was going through at that time. Because you guys remember, right? Many years ago, like, it was that podcast alone, which led people to hate on Roman Reigns more than what they were already hating on. Because in that time frame, in that time period, everyone was not happy with the idea that WWE chose Roman Reigns. They were not happy. I can tell you from my experience, I was there in Dallas, WrestleMania 32, when Roman faced Triple H, and everyone booed. Everyone was not happy with Roman Reigns. That's not who they wanted, right? And then he brought up the fact that, at the War Games, he shook his hand, right? Zebros or some dumb shit like that, which got the crowd popping, right? Which got people excited. Oh shit, he went there. Oh my god, I can't believe he went there, right? But basically, he did not like the fact that Punk mocked him near the end, like he was some type of fucking young boy and shit. But he's choosing CM Punk, not because Punk's a bigger star out of next to Drew McIntyre, or because hey, he's on Netflix, but the reality is he's choosing him because deep down Roman Reigns hates CM Punk, which we already knew. And again, like I just mentioned before, knowing what we know about the history, because again, this is 14 years in the making. This is 14 years in the making between Roman Reigns and CM Punk at WrestleMania. That's what this is. 14 years in the making, right? The story's there, right? The podcast from 10 plus years ago. You got to make Roman look real strong, right? Roman going through all the stuff. And here it is. CM Punk is the one who started all this thing. And it's a full circle moment. I think, listen, I think honestly, it's the best case scenario. Best case scenario. And again, yes, Punk referenced the fact that, Roman Reigns had been following his footsteps, the fact that Punk, had this 434-day run as WWE champion, and he did it better than Roman Reigns. I mean, that's up for debate. There's some people who enjoyed that run, and don't get me wrong, it was not a bad run. That 434-day run as champion for CM Punk was not bad. It was great, right? But that 1,300 plus day that Roman had as champion, it did big business for WWE. That's the difference. That is the fucking difference between both runs. One did more business, big business than the other, right? In his best case scenario, it's best case scenario because let's be honest, does anybody really think that Roman was gonna pick Drew McIntyre? And also what this does, here's the belt that Roman for so long said, oh, that's the little bro belt, right? That belt that Rollins won many years ago in Saudi Arabia, right? The World Heavyweight Championship. That's the little bro belt. Roman said that so long ago. And now, if you want to elevate that title, have Roman Reigns go after it. Have Roman, who is literally, this big box office attraction that WWE has right now, let him be the one to go after that title. Now, as far as the outcome goes at WrestleMania, who knows? Who the fuck really knows? But I'm intrigued. I thought last night that ending was just everything. Everything. Like, again, they went over certain bullet points. I thought Roman cooked CM Punk on the mic last night. Cooked him. Complete cooked him. Now, I said this a while ago when Braun Breaker was challenging CM Punk for the world title, and we saw their promo exchange, right? When Braun cut that cool ass promo, and you wanted to see how he would respond to Punk response, right? Now you want to see what Punk has to say, because I'm pretty sure this Monday on Raw, coming up next Monday, we're going to hear what CM Punk has to respond. More than likely, Punk is going to open the show next Monday night on Raw. He likely will open the show, will say what he has to say. Roman will not be there, more than likely. But more than likely, we already know what's going to be closing night 2. CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, I think this will be his 13th or 12th, more likely his 13th WrestleMania main event. This will be CM Punk's second WrestleMania main event. Like, there was even people that wanted to see Rollins and Punk, which is a match we already got, right? But granted, not at WrestleMania. But at this point, it is what it is. right? This is best case scenario. Best case scenario all around with Roman Reigns going up against CM Punk. That's best case scenario. You can't be mad at it at all. You can't. Like I said before, if there's anything on the show from last night that was worth a fucking damn, that was it. Everything else on the show was fucking skippable. Like, no fucks were given. Just that ending. And they made you wait for it. They made you wait for that ending, right? Because the crowd, for the most part, was kind of dead for the show. And again, it's Philadelphia, right? You know, Philly's supposed to be this rabid fan base, right? That's rabid fan base, ECW, right? We live off the nostalgia because it's Philadelphia. What's going on, Jay? Hope all is well with you on this Tuesday. Hope all is well with you. But let's get into the rest of the show. Again, this is not going to be long because, again, honestly, it was all about that ending that I mentioned just a couple seconds ago here. Okay? That's basically what the show is about last night. Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Again, because I hate you. Because I hate you. That's going to be this graphic, not just the picture itself on a t-shirt is going to hit years from now. For real, for real. But the show overall, look, it was the post Royal Rumble show. They opened the show with Braun Breaker having this complete crash out. He lost. If you guys remember at the Rumble, he entered at number 2 and he got attacked before he entered the ring by the masked figure, right? And he got tossed out by Obafemi in literally 10 seconds, right? So Braun Breaker is angry. He's upset, as he should be, pissed off. And what does he do? He destroys the announcer's table, starts throwing chairs around, breaks the table. Michael Cole and Corey Graves, they run for it. They are avoiding all this shit because I don't blame them, right? I think it was Cole. Oh, that's what's up, bro. You were at the show. Thanks. Same to you. I was at Raw last night. They were hyped for the last segment. That's what it felt like. I felt like for the rest of the show. And again, maybe from your perspective, because you were there live, it was different. But from watching it at home, it felt like for the good chunk of the show, yeah, we're just there. We're just chilling, you know. Anytime now, Roman Reigns, come on out now. Any moment now. That's what it felt like. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please. But again, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments, guys, your thoughts on the show. What did you like from the show? What did you not like? And all that stuff. But again, Braun Breaker's upset, right? And he's ready to crash out. He wants Adam Pearce to come out, right? Paul Heyman blamed Adam Pearce for placing Braun Breaker in the number 2 spot. And Pearce appeared with an army of security guard. Basically, the guys you will see real soon on the Independents or an AEW or Ring of Honor, whatever the case may be, right? And stating that he did not know who the masked man was, right? He did not know, but in his mind, there's a good possibility that the masked person was none other than Austin Theory, because Theory has a history of wearing the mask, right? When he revealed himself a couple of weeks ago. And, Paul Heyman went on to respond, but hey, how do you not know when you had to approve everyone's visa to travel to Saudi Arabia? So how the hell do you not know? Which in his mind, it was BS, right? So then Adam Pearce gave Braun Breaker a gift, right? He allowed him to keep his job after that piss poor performance that he had at the Royal Rumble. And Braun just loses it, right? And there's this moment where, LA Knight comes out to play the music, and LA Knight attacks, he attacks Logan Paul and Austin Theory, right, with the chairs, right? And there's a moment where it's like, Braun Breaker asked Paul Heyman, what are we doing? What do we do now? Right? Again, I know there's some people who are going to say that, oh, Braun Breaker looks like a chump. I mean, he kind of did at the Rumble. I mean, what I've done, Braun Breaker losing in 10 seconds at the Rumble, I would have not done that. No. I would have not had him at number 2. I think he was supposed to be number 1, but then the whole hiccup happened on SmackDown where his lower third showed up by accident. I think once that happened, you change things up. But don't make him number fucking 2. No. Make him, I don't know, somewhere in the teens or some shit like that. But be that as it may, here we are, right? And Braun, and again, in the eyes of a lot of people, looked like a chump. Because then, I didn't mention this, and I forgot to mention this, and I apologize for not mentioning this. Homeboy tripped as he left the ring. He tripped. So, if you thought he looked like a chump, it made it even worse that he fucking tripped. But yeah, overall, as far as Braun being mad, he's supposed to be mad. He's upset. He got fucked over. So I don't blame him for being mad, but it's just one of those things that makes you wonder, who is the masked person? Who is it? Part of me still feels, hey, it's Logan Paul, my guy, the Maverick. But we'll see how all that progresses. From there, we had Javon Evans versus El Grande Americano. The match itself went about, 12 minutes? And it was your standard television opening match. You had, obviously, Rayo and Bravo outside the ring. And somewhere along the way, the original El Grande Americano interrupted. The interference from Los Americanos allowed Evans to pick up the win. So, yeah, they pinned El Grande Americano. They had the original El Grande Americano show up. I don't know where this is going to lead, obviously, but later on in the night, you had, if you watched it on the international feed, right? In this case, Jay the Mac, you were there. You probably heard it yourself in the building. El Grande Americano with Bravo and Rayo, they cut a promo. But I think it's funny as all hell seeing Rayo and Bravo knowing who they are underneath the mask, speaking in Spanish. I think it's fucking hilarious. All right. But look, maybe at WrestleMania, they do mask versus mask between El Grande Americano and El Original Grande Americano. More than likely, right? The crowd was kind of quiet for some parts of the show. I kind of figured. It kind of did feel that way. After this, if you watched on the I guess international feed, not even. Yeah, the international feed. The Usos came out to the ring to cut a promo. Right? They hyped up Roman Reigns, right? Winning the Royal Rumble, and he gotta get his belt back, right? Go get your belt back. But also the fact that they're hyping up their tag team title match next week. By the way, it's good to see Jimmy Uso back on television, okay? He's been missing for a while. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Right? And obviously, for those of you who don't remember, next week on Raw, it will be the Usos defending the World Tag Team Championships against the Alpha Academy of Tosawa and Otis. I'll be honest, I forgot this match was even happening. I don't know if I'm the only one, or maybe you guys watching this right now, whether it's live or watching it on the playback, maybe you forgot about it too. But I totally forgot that this match even happened. Totally forgot. But that's happening. It's happening next week for the tag titles, and a big whoop-de-doo. After this though, the Uso, not bad. We had Gunther trolling the crowd because AJ Styles' music hit, right? And everyone was like, oh my God, is it him? Right? You would think, hey, AJ, he's retired, right? Or his career ended, however you want to say it. You would think, hey, he would cut a speech, a promo, right? A farewell, right? At least do that, right? So they play his music, and Gunther did the whole entrance right with the hands and the whole thing. I thought it was hilarious, right? The way he trolled the crowd, the way he had this ability to troll everyone. It had everyone fooled, right? And obviously, because of what happened, right, he's getting booed. He's the career ender, right? He ended the career of Bill Goldberg, which I guarantee a lot of you do not give a fuck about. But it happened. He ended the career of John Cena, and now here he is ending the career of AJ Styles, right? And then out of nowhere, Dragon Lee interrupted and went on the attack on Gunther. Now, keep in mind, for those of you who don't remember, Dragon Lee and AJ Styles were tag team champions, right? And Dragon Lee went on the attack, right? He hit a tope suicida and then the Tahara, but then Gunther then caught Lee with the bell and then choked him out. And his whole visual, like, yo, Dragon Lee was dangling on the apron and he was being choked out by Gunther. Being choked out. And then literally Dragon Lee, he just went splat outside the ring because people try to break it up and all that stuff. But the damage was already done. Damage was already done. And dare I say, I enjoyed the segment because you need Gunther to be a badass, right? You need Gunther to have this sort of dominance, right? After what he did. The last thing you want to have happen is, hey, the tag team partner shows up and beats up Gunther. No, that's not how this works. Jay writes here, Gunther is a genius. I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, brother. I'm glad that you enjoyed some parts of the show from last night, because I guarantee you what I'm about to mention here, you're not going to enjoy. But after this, we saw backstage, or I guess if you watched on the international feed, we saw Maxine Dupree call out Natty for next week. She's not happy with what happened, right? The fact that Natty cost her the Women's Intercontinental Championship, right? She still can't believe what happened, right? But she vows to break her ankle, make her tap out. But yeah, it is happening next week, folks. It's happening. Maxine Dupree versus Natty. I'll be honest, I am happy that Natty is going to be embracing now on WWE programming her gimmick that she's been doing on the independents. I don't know how many of you know this or not, but Natty, Natalia, whatever you want to call her, right? You know, outside of WWE, she's been taking part of Bloodsport for GCW. She wrestled in the NWA a couple of months ago, right, for the NWA Women's title. So they're allowing her to work independent spots here and there, right? She was in AAA a while back, but she's embracing this like Bloodsport character, this no fucks given badass, which was completely different from what we were seeing from her prior in WWE, which has been the same old, when her music hits, you think it's bread, right? So I'm happy that they're allowing her to be this persona now, right? But yeah, I mean, it's a match no one's really asking for. It should be a decent match. Let's hope so for everyone's sake, right? But yeah, that's happening. We were supposed to get a tag team match between Eric and Ivar of the War Raiders, but the other tag team didn't come out. Instead, it was Obafemi. Obafemi came out and he laid out Eric and Ivar. Laid them both out. Now, I know for some people out there, it's one of those things where they were not impressed. There's some people who were not happy the way it was produced. Like, yes, you want to make Obafemi feel like this badass, this monster, right? For some people, the execution was just kind of off, right? Because the way he was eliminated at the Royal Rumble by Brock Lesnar. But Point is, though, look, I don't want to crap on it right away. It was his Raw debut officially as a member of the Raw roster. Personally, this is just me. I would have also had him show up on SmackDown. Granted, he showed up on SmackDown a couple weeks ago when he was the NXT champion, right? But you would think Obafemi shows up at the Rumble. He's a free agent, right? You would think, hey, Nick Aldis would also want to acquire the services of Obafemi. So why not have Obafemi also show up to SmackDown on Friday and also, cause a wreckage, right? Raise hell on SmackDown. And you have this bidding war between the GMs for the services of Obafemi. That's what I would have done. All right. What's going on, Safet? Hope all is well with you. Brandon writes here, I live in Cleveland debating if I want to go to boring matches so far. Well, if you're going, Roman Reigns won't be there. So it's up to you. I mean, I always believe going to a show live is always fun, right? Regardless of the promotion. It's always a fun time being there live, right? But I agree. The War Raiders did not deserve that at all. They look like ho-hos out there. They were treated like ho-hos, basically. Like enhancement talent, the way they were treated. It makes you think, right? Like, hey, deep down, you have to believe that there will be some releases happening in WWE. With talent that are coming in, you want to believe that real soon, and I hate that I'm saying this, there's going to be releases. And if there's going to be releases, based on what I saw last night, bro, the War Raiders are probably on the chopping block. That's just the way that it is. And look, they're a talented tag team. If you watch the stuff on the Independents and Ring of Honor, you know they can go. It's just that their time has come and gone, right? The ship has sailed. And honestly, guys, just get to Ring of Honor. Go to Ring of Honor. But that's just me. It's one man's opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, Obafemi right now, look, it's still week 1. So let's see where things are at by the time we get to March. I want to see where we're at with Obafemi. But if it was up to me, I would have had both GMs fighting for the services of Obafemi. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Let me know in the chat. But after this, we saw the Bellas. Yes, Brie and Nikki Bella. Not gonna lie, they would go crazy in TNA. I agree. The problem is, though, because TNA is basically now WWE developmental, even though they don't admit it, but reality is they are like WWE's, like their second division, like their developmental, their, I guess, AAA league, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? You would just think, hey, WWE will just allow them to just wrestle in TNA. If that's the case. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But the Bellas came out, Nikki and Brie. Now, they didn't get the same ovation they got in Saudi Arabia, obviously, but they announced that they're going to go after the women's tag team titles. Whoopee! Yes. Nikki and Brie, the Bella twins, are going to go after they're going to go and try to become the women's tag team champions.
Exactly. No pop.
Yeah. No pop at all. No pop at all. And whatever,
I don't know. It's like whatever.
Yeah. It's like whatever. Good for them. Likely WrestleMania is going to happen. They're going to have their moment. And again, when they were around doing their thing back in the day, those titles did not exist. And again, they are a tag team. They're sisters. Why not? Fuck it. At this point, fuck it. But after this, we saw, again, Maxine Dupree speak to the Alpha Academy. saying that she would break Natty's ankle. Whatever. Cool. We saw Finn Balor say that he was coming for CM Punk and the World Heavyweight title. I mentioned that earlier when I talked about the last segment of Raw, that CM Punk literally got in the ring, looked at Roman Reigns, looked at the camera, and started mentioning Finn Balor. And Roman was like, what the fuck? So there was that. From there, we saw Penta versus Bronson Reed, because early in the night, we saw Paul Heyman wanting Adam Pearce to make a match between LA Knight and Braun Breaker. But Adam Pearce told Paul Heyman that LA Knight was told to leave because he interrupted the show the way that he did. And he's advising Paul Heyman to have Braun Breaker to be escorted out of the building, right? So they're going back and forth, right? They're in Philly. And then Adam Pearce told Paul Heyman, hey, F-A-F-O. You fuck around, you're going to find out, right? So we had instead Penta versus Bronson Reed. The match itself, I'll be very honest, it was solid, nothing to go crazy about. They basically did the finish. I don't know how many of you remember this. This was the finish between Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed from the John Cena The Last Time Is Now tournament, where Bronson Reed lost by countout, right? If you remember, like when that happened, like, I think it was Cody and Punk or whoever it was who laid out Bronson Reed on the outside. So LA Knight comes out and he lays out Bronson Reed with the BFT onto a chair on the outside. And Bronson Reed could not answer the 10 count. He could not get up. He got up and he fell. So Penta got the win via the count out. I mean, look, it is what it is. It's fine. Weston writes here, what's going on, Weston? Finn Balor didn't realize he missed the boat on CM Punk Mania feud. Yeah, I guess so. What's going on, Universal? If you're going to post some news here today, we need sources, okay? If you're going to post breaking news here, you need sources. If you don't have sources, don't post them. Love you, but just letting you know. Thank you. After this, though, we saw Dominic Mysterio make his return. Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, right? When we saw the return of the Intercontinental Championship, it's been missing for a hot minute, right? It's been missing. And I don't know if you didn't realize this too, but you want to know who's also been missing from Monday Night Raw? Epic is still missing. Epic is still missing from Monday Night Raw. Also, by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, and I didn't mention this at the beginning of the program. I'm kind of mad that I didn't mention this, but it's a new era in WWE. It's a new era. Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but it's a new era. Did you know that? Did you know? Hey, you watching right now. Did you know it's a new era in WWE? I just want to remind you, it's a new era. Yeah, it's a new era. Yay. But Dominic Mysterio returned. He introduced Liv Morgan, the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, my New Jersey sister, the pride of New Jersey, bruh. The pride and joy of New Jersey. She wears New Jersey proud on her heart. She wears it proudly, right? And he introduced Liv Morgan and called himself the greatest. He called herself the greatest winner of the WWE Women's Royal Rumble and stated that she would also head over to SmackDown to evaluate her options. And I think that's great because you want to, again, fuck around with the champions here. Hey, are you going to challenge Stephanie McCurr? Or maybe you want to go to SmackDown and challenge, Jade Cargill. So you want to have the fact that, hey, both champions are on a swivel here. Like, okay, I'm going to have my eyes on you. just in case. So you want that. That's cool. But yeah, I'm happy for Liv Morgan, my New Jersey sister. Always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Now this is her moment, right? And basically, after that, right, Raquel Rodriguez asked Liv why she eliminated her before asking her to go back for a title match against Stephanie McCurry, right? But that's in the past because, again, at the end of the day, either whether it been Liv or Raquel or Roxanne Perez, it's a win for the Judgment Day, which they've needed wins. Is they just out showing up on Impact this Thursday? To my understanding, I think Impact has already been taped. Unless I'm wrong, but time will tell. Time will tell if he is or not. So we did get Stephanie McCurry versus Raquel Rodriguez in a Philadelphia street fight. And let's just point the obvious. They changed they changed Stephanie's theme song. They changed her theme song. And when I heard this theme song, I was like,
that shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
Fuck!
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
Was not feeling the new theme song. But you know what, though? Time will tell. As time goes on, I'll get used to it. I think that's just the norm, right? But if it was up to me, yeah, let her go back to her old theme song, right? And the match itself, I'll be honest, it had a lot of hit and miss. Felt a little bumpy. They gave you this idea that, Raquel might get the win. Because there's a moment where, Liv Morgan came out. Even though Raquel told her to not come out there, to hand her the belt, and that kind of caused a little mess there, right? And you would thought, hey, Stephanie was gonna get the win. They did this whole thing where the table was in the corner, and Roxanne Perez got involved, and she falls on the outside onto some tables, and it looked like Raquel was gonna hit her with the Tejana bomb, right? Off the top rope, off the top turnbuckle onto the table, but Stephanie countered it into Hurricane Rana. The table didn't even break, but they went with it. At the same time, Stephanie was selling her leg injury. Raquel was working on that leg. But when it was all said and done, obviously, Stephanie McCurry remains the women's champion, right? She defends her title. And then after the match, Liv Morgan, my New Jersey sister, hit the beautiful Oblivion on Stephanie McCurry after the match to let her know, hey, I might just pick you at WrestleMania. Well, we don't know. She has not made her choice yet. And I agree. The new Stephanie McCurry theme sucks so badly. 100%. Will a new GM be announced on NXT tonight? Maybe so. Maybe, just maybe. Or if not, maybe Robert Stone. I don't know. Maybe Robert Stone is going to be the GM of NXT. Who the fuck really knows? Time will tell. All right. But then, we got the end of the show. By the way, before I mention anything else that happened on the program here, they also announced next week we'll start getting the qualifications for the Elimination Chamber, because you guys know it's happening in Chicago, right? The next PLE. So we're going to start getting the qualifying matches to see who qualifies for the Elimination Chamber, who gets another opportunity to punch their ticket to the main event to WrestleMania, right? To challenge the champion, right? And I already mentioned earlier before, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. If you've not listened to what I said about that, go and rewind to the beginning of the stream where I talked about that already. I thought it was great, fucking awesome. Like I mentioned before, if you did not watch Monday Night Raw yet, skip everything else and just watch the ending of the show. And if you want, go back and rewatch Gunther beat up Dragon Lee. But that end of the show was just fucking awesome. The story itself is there, 14 years in the making. It was fucking awesome, okay? But that's going to be it for me, guys. Look, I'm not going to repeat myself about what happened near the end. I already mentioned it earlier. I'm not going to repeat myself, okay? So if you want to hear what I had to say about that, about Roman Reigns, CM Punk, WrestleMania, it's official, go back and listen to the beginning of the stream, okay? If you've not checked out Steve's Kitchen yet, go give that a watch. Myself and Chase, we did our recap of the 2026 Royal Rumble. So go give that a watch when you get a chance. I'll be back live this Thursday with another live edition of Something About Dynamite. Now, real quick, if you are a channel member, I think it's tonight or tonight. Yeah, most likely tonight. Later on, the gang will be live. Well, we won't be live. We'll be, watching like a family. Old chamber matches. All right? So if you want to watch with us, by all means, okay? Or watch us react to these matches, right? You can watch us react, whatever it is. I'll post the link, all right? But that's happening later on tonight, okay? That's going to be it for me, guys. So much love to all of you. Again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media, all right? Share it through social media and all that fun stuff. Follow me on X at HeelSteven. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT.Network. If you want to be a channel member, it's only $2.99 a month. $2.99 a month. Hit that join button next to the subscribe button. All right. And all that fun stuff. All right. That's going to be it for me, guys. Much love to all of you. For myself, for the gang, for Roman Reigns and CM Punk, because I hate you. This has been the Raw Rundown here on the Around the Point Network. Peace out, y'all.